What up, folks? Once again, this is your boy Tim, the handsome liberal. Kyle Rittenhouse. Day 9, what is this? Day 10, they have finally wrapped up the trial. And as we speak, the jury members are deliberating. Oh boy. A few things I wanted to talk about. Just wanted to get on here and drop a video and chop it up. See what you guys are, where your head at. I know most folks on the right, and even a large portion of the left, expect an acquittal. And so does yours truly. I've told you in several videos that I do not expect Kyle Rittenhouse to be found guilty of murder, particularly because the videos are quite damning for the deceased and the individual who had his whole damn bicep shot off. However, I will give credit to the district attorney, or better yet, the assistant district attorney. He performed the closing arguments or the rebuttal for the prosecution, and he made some decent points that I don't think the prosecution presented with any strength during the trial. Now, everybody watching this, all the analysts, I watched several different networks. I'm watching stuff on the right, I'm watching stuff on the left. And virtually everybody believes that the prosecution was out-lawyered and was looking like crap in the room, in the court compared to the defense. So it looks like virtually everyone who was watching this believed that the defense was winning the case. And like I said earlier, just a moment ago, with that type of video showing them chasing Rittenhouse, trying to kick him in the head, hit him with a skateboard, it's not that difficult to present a decent case of self-defense when you got folks swinging skateboards and trying to kick a person in the head. However, just for sake of argument, even though I'm making it clear, by no means do I think that Kyle Rittenhouse is going to be found guilty. I think the assistant district attorney presented a decent case in regards to Rosenbaum. And that is that even though Rosenbaum was talking a bunch of shit, running all after and chasing Kyle Rittenhouse, there was not a definitive need to kill this man. It just, he's chasing him around and indicating he might beat his ass. But, the argument presented is shooting him to death the only option you have? And because Rosenbaum did not have any weapons on him at all. At the very most, he threw a freaking plastic bag at him. So there was no need to, or better yet, it's questioned whether there was a need to kill this man or to truly feel like your life was in danger. Now, I'm sure there are plenty of people who would push back and argue back on this, and there's a legitimate side to it. But let me just ask you this, for those who are watching. If you were out in public or somewhere and somebody challenged you, you're in a bar, you're on a basketball court, wherever, and somebody challenged you to a fight and you truly thought that that person was stronger than you, do you have the right to shoot them? Before they even throw the first punch, they walking up to your face, maybe a road rage incident or whatever. Clearly nothing in their hands. They're unarmed. You're a concealed carrier. You get an offender bender or somebody jumps out of the car pissed off with you. Say they're in a singlet or a tank top or a wife beater. So you clearly see they have no weapons on them, but they're bigger and stronger. You're concealed carrying and they're walking up to you talking about, I'm about to beat your ass. Do you have the right to pull out your weapon and shoot them? The reason I'm asking that is because that is kind of what happened. Now, there is a debate that Rosenbaum grabbed for Kyle Rittenhouse's gun, but looking at the footage that was presented, it's hard to say that truly happened. I understand that is the testimony coming from the defense and coming from Kyle Rittenhouse, but there is no clear footage of him reaching and grabbing the guy's gun. It's a matter of an angry guy throwing around racial slurs and angry words at Kyle Rittenhouse and chasing him. And Kyle Rittenhouse, when he finally catches up to Kyle Rittenhouse pulls out a gun and shoots and kills him. Shoots him a bunch of times, like 4 times, including in the back. But that's where the argument lies, is that if you feel like somebody is bigger and stronger than you and they're threatening to beat your ass, do you have the right to shoot and kill them? My guess is because of this situation, Rittenhouse is going to get off. But I feel confident in saying that this is not one where anybody in this circumstance would get off. And I'm not going into racial anger with no shit like that. I'm not going to say if he was black. I made another video about that, by the way, which I thought was a good video. What if Kyle Rittenhouse was black? But we're not talking about that today. I'm just simply saying if you're out in public and an unarmed individual starts talking shit or threatening to whip your ass and they walk up on you and you shoot and kill them, I don't believe that there is a guarantee where you're going to get the benefit of the doubt that I think Kyle Rittenhouse is going to get. So I'm just simply saying that that's a dangerous precedent because there are a whole lot of people who threaten to beat up other people. I mean, everything from kids in school, like I mentioned, to people in bars, or hell, when I lived in the hood on the basketball court, you foul somebody too much or something like that, or bump into somebody or step on the wrong shoes, and threats get made. But you're talking about people throwing hands and one individual feeling like he could not fight or defend himself against somebody else, so he just straight blast and shoot him. So, yeah, I don't believe that if the average person did that, they would get lucky every time. I think there's going to be some cases where you would be charged with murder. And that's why I'm presenting the videos, because I think that, at least from Cal Rosenbaum's standpoint, he may have killed somebody that didn't need to be killed. He's 17. He doesn't have a lot of time with the weapon, so I'm not going to come back with why did he try to shoot him in the leg and all of that bullshit. I'm not even going to assume he's accurate enough to do that. Like I've said in several videos, everything about what he did was just dumb as fuck. We can counter that by saying the rioter and looters were dumb and they shouldn't have been out there as well too. Yeah, absolutely 100% certain of that. But they're not on trial. Kyle Rittenhouse is. So bringing up their dumb actions, it's kind of like getting caught for speeding and bringing up other cars driving down the highway. No, they pulled you over. And Kyle Rittenhouse is the one that is on trial right now. So, yeah, everything about his actions that day were, for lack of a better term, dumb as fuck. But he's not on trial for being dumb. He's not on trial for making an ignorant mistake. He's on trial for murder. And being dumb or ignorant doesn't necessarily translate to being guilty of murder. It just doesn't. But once again, yeah, I watched most of the trial. I didn't watch 100% of it. I probably watched about 75% of it over those 9 or 10 days. I watched most of it, including the closing arguments by the prosecution, defense, and then a rebuttal by the prosecution. So, I watched it even up until the closing instructions from the judge to the jury. So I watched a lot of it. But, yeah, once again, I will say that the case against the second victim or second person that he killed, and what did they call it? Flying kick guy or whatever they were calling him as a nickname. Flying kick guy, and then of course the other guy who had his biceps shot off. By the way, who got a really sweetheart deal from the prosecution for testifying against Kyle Rittenhouse. Because he clearly was a felon in possession of a handgun, but because he was testifying against Kyle Rittenhouse, it looks like they've given him a pass. Another side note is that the individual who sold the gun, the AR-15, or he purchased the AR-15 and gave it to Kyle Rittenhouse. That individual, according to the prosecutor in this case, they're trying him as well, and they should be tried. I mean, there's no excuse for an adult purchasing a firearm and handing it to a juvenile that is not legally able to purchase it. That's kind of how a lot of the criminals in Chicago, where I'm from, get their weapons. Is they're purchased from people who can buy them legally and then sold or given to people who cannot purchase them. Now, it's usually, in that case, a legal person handing it to an adult felon. But nevertheless, you're handing it to somebody who is not legally allowed to have the weapon. And that's the case in Kyle Rittenhouse's situation. And I will say, regardless of how this comes or how this unfolds for Kyle Rittenhouse, he should be denied Second Amendment rights for a while. I mean, there's just no doubt that he obtained the firearm illegally. I mean, there's no doubt about that. So it's no different than him boasting about, or I won't say he was boasting, but he was admitting in court that he routinely drives without a license. Well, if you're caught driving without a license at 17, they usually push out the time until you can get a legitimate license. You temporarily will lose your driving privileges. That's how it works. In fact, I remember a couple individuals that I knew that did exactly that before they were 18, and they could not get a license until they were 21. But once again, like I said earlier, is that I believe that Kyle Rittenhouse is going to be afforded things out of this case that the average individual going into a situation like this would not be afforded. So just to note that if this happens to somebody else, don't always expect the exact same outcome. I mean, I believe that predominantly it's because of he does have good counsel, but I'm not going to say that. I'm going to try to hop over the white privilege word, even though I would probably insert that in there somewhere. But the biggest issue, I believe, is just that society is on the side of Kyle Rittenhouse. And I absolutely believe that judge is also on the side of Kyle Rittenhouse. And I believe that with those two things at play, he's going to be, he's likely to receive a favorable outcome. But I could be wrong. What do you think? You believe that there's a chance that Rittenhouse is going to be acquitted of all three, the two homicides and the shooting of the individual who lost his bicep, or the attempted murder? You believe he's going to get an acquittal on all three? Like I keep saying, I absolutely believe he will. I do not believe Rosenbaum should have been killed. So if I was on a jury, it might end up being hung, because I do not believe him yelling the N-word and chasing Kyle Rittenhouse around with an AR-15. I don't know. It's hard, because I would say at least firing a warning shot or something. It's just the idea of killing someone should be a last resort, not a first resort. And it looks like Kyle Rittenhouse jumped to killing him pretty quick. I mean, he jumped to killing the guy pretty quick. Also, too, I would suggest that in a situation like that, you're going into chaotic situation to the point where you believe you need, you need a firearm, and some of his cohorts believe they needed body armor. So it wasn't like they went out here expecting this to be a walk in the park. You should have non-lethal devices, pepper spray or something like that. When people are going to run up to you yelling out, like for instance, a good example, when Rosenbaum was in his face yelling all the N-word, bless him with the hot sauce, hit him in the face with some pepper spray, and get the hell out of there. That would have solved that, because Rosenbaum with that hot sauce would have been down for 10, 20 minutes, wiping his eyes, and Kyle could have got the hell out of there. But that didn't happen. He only came with a lethal device. So if he found himself in trouble, his only option was to deliver lethal force, which is exactly what happened. But I strongly believe that Rosenbaum, the first guy, was an individual that got killed that did not need killing. Now, he's on the ground and the guy's trying to hit him in the skateboard and throwing flying kicks at his head. It's more than one of them. You got another guy walking up with a pistol in his hand. I'm far more likely to see self-defense in that case than I am with Rosenbaum. Rosenbaum, a lot of that was assumption. I think he's going to beat my ass. I think he's going to take my weapon. I think he's going to kill other people. That's pretty much the case they presented in court. But what are these things did he actually do? Well, I don't have to wait till he kicks my ass. I don't have to wait till he takes my weapon. I don't have to wait till he shoots other people. I can shoot him proactively. And that's what happened, and that's what a lot of people are defending, until it happens to somebody else. And I think that the tune will be different. It's just you made a lot of assumptions, and you shot a guy 4 times, including in the back, based on that. So I'm in the air about Rosenbaum. What do you think? Cut the video kind of short here. I don't want to go too long, but yeah, I'm really curious. You think they're going to be deliberating on this shit very long? I do not expect that. This is gun country in southeastern Wisconsin. People are heavily in favor of Second Amendment rights down there. I think that area is starting to get kind of red. It's not exactly Milwaukee. It's not exactly Chicago. It's in between. So I believe it's a red county. I'd have to look that up. But Yeah, I would not be surprised if Kyle Rittenhouse gets acquitted. In fact, I would probably put about double your money on it. If I had to place a wager, I'd probably give 2-to-1 odds on Kyle Rittenhouse getting acquitted. Anyway, drop a comment. Let me know what you think. Do you believe this guy should walk, or do you believe that there should be some legitimate guilty verdicts in this? And if you believe he should be found guilty of what? Because he's facing a host of charges. Anyway, once again, it's your boy Tim, the handsome liberal. Show your boy some love. Hit the subscription button. Click the bell so you notify when I'm dropping these videos. Did you feel what I had to say? If so, give me a like. If not, hit the dislike, but drop me a comment and let me know why. Handsome liberal. Catch you in the next video.